Welcome back to Hannity. So with the Obama administration refusing to use the term radical Islam and many other liberals seemingly more concerned about the so-called Islamophobia than with countering actual jihadists, well, could political correctness be putting you and your family and your lives at risk? Joining us now are two former federal officials who are sounding the alarm on our government's inept policies, including the co-author of See Something, Say Nothing, a Homeland Security officer, exposes the government's submission to jihad. Former Department of Homeland Security official Philip Haney, as well as former Department of Defense official Rich Higgins. Phil, you founded the Department of Homeland Security in 2003, right?
Yeah, I was a founding member, yes, March of 2003.
And when Obama became president, at some point in this first year in office, you were given a dictate, a mandate to scrub the names of...
It actually happened twice, and it was a year after the Holy Land Foundation trial in November of 2008. The records I modified the first time was about 850, all related to the Muslim Brotherhood network in the United States, which had already been proven in federal court to be tied to Hamas. The second time was on the network that San Bernardino and Orlando are related to. They didn't just modify them, they completely eliminated them.
You mean these are people who had ties to terror organization? Obama becomes president, you're one of the founding members of the Department of Homeland Security, and they told you to scrub the names of those people that you were building in a database to keep the country secure.
That's right, and they knew, because after the Holy Land trial, you can't say, well, we didn't know. It was proven in federal court by the Department of Justice that these front groups in the United States, like CARE and ISNA and NAIT, were tied to Hamas.
And you think that Orlando and maybe even San Bernardino could have been prevented if you had the information to connect the dots?
Well, we're cops. That's our attitude. That's what we took our vow to protect the United States from. Threat is stop those things.
And is that your experience as well?
It is my experience,
Rich?
Sean. I think Phil is an example of what we saw going on inside the national security apparatus writ large. So after we saw Democrats take control of Congress in 2006, the PC meter ticked up a little bit. And then over time, with Obama coming in, it was really consummated. And I think the tipping point was actually in 2011, where we saw a series of articles in September of 2011, authored by Spencer Ackerman of journalist fame, targeting specifically the FBI and later the DOD's training programs as it pertains to Islam. From those articles, we saw action by Muslim advocates, a Muslim Brotherhood affiliate organization, writing a letter to the White House. At the time, National Security Advisor for Combating Terrorism was Mr. John Brennan. Within about 5 days of that, we saw Joint Staff Directive come out that I saw Congressman Gohmert give you last week on the air. That Joint Staff Directive came out tasking the services to scrub their training material, and specifically, and the key thing in this, Sean, is it was targeting intelligence.
So you're saying it from the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Defense, you were given a mass scrubbing of any intelligence we had gathered and spent probably billions of dollars accumulating that would have helped prevent, say it, what do you...
It was top down. It started with the subject matter experts, we call them SMEs, and they went after the ones, there's 2 or 3 in each one of the major branches of the federal government involved with law enforcement. They went after people like us first. Once we were out of the way, then they had a very wide latitude to work.
So when they said man-caused disasters, overseas contingencies, and you know, workplace violence, that was all part of what you were dealing with privately behind the scenes. You know, the Homeland Security Secretary now says we can't say Sharia, we can't say jihad, it'll offend people. You have a president and a presidential candidate that refuse to say radical Islam.
Sean, the scrubbed transcripts that we saw put out today, for Phil and I looking at that, it looks like the past 5 or 6 years for us.
So that was
every day.
That was exactly. In other words, the scrub thing. Don't tell the truth.
Now it's broken out into the wide open where everybody can see it.
Let me ask you both. If Donald Trump becomes the president of the United States, thinking of all the work that you've done that Obama scrubbed out, that made us less safe, right? Fair statement?
Sure.
Would you go back and be able to rebuild what was scrubbed?
Well, there's 2 components that are really important. The internal, within the agencies, bring the guys back up to speed again, the sworn officers, but there's another secondary repercussion that's really important. You'll be surprised how fast the word would get out around the world. And that's the secondary, very, very important.
That would be beneficial to the safety and security of our country.
That's right. They would
real
know.
quick.
Right, Sean, I'll walk that up a little bit. We have no strategy in the war. We've heard this said over and over again by our senior general officers. The reason we have no strategy is because we don't understand the enemy. When we bring in the folks who understand the threat doctrine, the entire deliberate decision.
In other words, Islam. Understand radical Islam.
Right.
Sharia law.
But to understand it at the graduate school level, we're not talking about, hey, I understand this.
Listen, I'm teaching people about Sharia every night and what life is like, and Hillary takes money from countries that abuse women, gays, lesbians, Christians, and Jews.
Exactly.
I've got to run. You guys are both national heroes. I would love to see you back in your positions. Thank you.
Thank you,
both.
Sean.